In Unit 1, Lesson 1, students draw on what they know about place value to round numbers to the nearest 10 or 100 using a number line. The first step in rounding a number is to identify the landmark number before and after the number. If we are rounding 384 to the nearest 10, we would identify that there are 38 tens in the number. Therefore, our first landmark number would be 380. Since we're rounding it to the nearest 10, we would go forward 10 more, which would be 390. So the first step in rounding this number to the nearest 10 is to identify that it falls between 380 and 390. The next step is to identify the midpoint of the number line. The midpoint of a number line that is in increments of 10 would be 5. Therefore, 385 would be the middle number. Step 3 is to locate which side of the middle line 384 would be labeled. In this case, it would be labeled on the left side. This is showing me that 384 rounded to the nearest 10 rounds to 380. The same steps apply when rounding to the nearest 100. Students are first going to identify that there are 3 hundredths in 384. Therefore, their first landmark number is 300. Since we are rounding to the nearest 100, 100 more would be 400. Our midpoint would be 350. And finally, we would locate 384 somewhere on the right side of 350, letting us know that 384 rounds up to 400 when rounded to the nearest 100. When students are asked to identify multiple numbers that round up or down, we ask students to draw a number line to show their thinking for all 3 numbers. So for the following problem, circle all numbers that round to 840. We would start a number line for 839. We're rounding to the nearest 10, so we identify that there are 83 tens. So we would start with 830, 10 more, 840. The number halfway between 830, 840 would be 835. 839 falls to the right of the midpoint, so we would say that 389 rounds up to 840. We would then draw a number line for the next number, 842. There are 84 tenths. Therefore, 840 is the first number. 850 is the second. The number halfway between those would be 845. 842 would be found somewhere on the left side of the middle point. Therefore, we would say 842 rounds down to 840. And then finally, 848. There are 84 tens. Therefore, our number line would begin with 840. 10 more, 850. Our number halfway would be 845. And 848 would be located on the right side of the midpoint, so that 848 rounds up to 850. Student is not completed the question, however. The question was to circle all numbers that round to 840. 839 would round up to 840. 840 2 would round down to 840. However, 848 would round up to 850, therefore would not be an answer choice.